All right. We're going to get started. What I'm going to do, you can still talk, and I'm going to pass out a piece of paper. And on this piece of paper is just a guide for a table discussion. And so we're going to go through this, and you guys are just going to talk as a table, and I want us to talk about the Great Commission. So there's going to be a text at the top of this from Matthew 28. And then there's going to be some questions that come from that, just two questions. The first one is to take 2 to 3 minutes to make some observations about the text that's on here. And then the second is to take 5 minutes to discuss as a table your observations from that text. Okay, and then when you get to questions 3, 4, and 5, all right, you need to all sort of be ready to talk and actually share some thoughts. Okay, but move it through these at your own pace as a table, and then we'll probably take, probably like 7 to 10 minutes for our table discussion, and then we'll come back together after that. So I'll pass these out. But again, you're going to read the text that's on the piece of paper, and then you're going to talk as tables. Don't mess it up. Again, so go ahead and pass out those pieces of paper. Everybody needs one piece of paper. Everybody should participate tonight. If you don't want to participate, then you're going to have to give us your food back. Just not in the sanctuary, okay? Thank you. Does anybody need a piece of paper? Does everybody have one? Okay. Bob Southwick, you good? You got one? All right. Sweet. And dessert. Look at you. Yes, you can. So you are asked to be students tonight, to read this wonderful text from Matthew 28, make some observations, and then you guys are going to discuss it as a. Do not be afraid. You can be a student tonight. Don't worry. Your hands were like, you did the fill. You did. Oh, I forgot. You do have problems about that. Sorry. Yeah. Don't worry, this is not a quiz, okay? It's okay. Yeah. Every group will be different. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thank you. Wow. Yes. So far, everyone has failed. Just kidding. Jesus usually works. It's it's right here. At this point, you should be discussing as a table some of your observations from your reading. All right. So perhaps you're coming now to the three questions at the bottom. But in the interest of time, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to discuss as a table, and then we'll come back together and we'll finish as a group, a big group. So take 2 more minutes to get into those questions of what is the Great Commission commissioning? I like that one. What does it mean to be missional? And in what ways are we fulfilling our Christ-given Great Commission obligation? So you got 2 minutes. If you don't finish, again, shame. There should be so much more talking at this table. Kathy and Doyle just got the right answer and they stopped talking. They were like, here's the right answer. You need to be quiet. They're meditating. See if the school teachers over here got the right answers. Oh, yeah. I was the gym teacher. Remember that? Oh, that's right. That's right. So master in dodgeball. Rope climbing. All right, about 30 seconds before we get back together as a big group. Okay, it's okay if you didn't finish. We're going to get back together as a group. Just wanted to get you thinking. Usually after food, you get to sleeping, but tonight we're going to get to thinking. Yes, coffee helps. So let me read this text for us. You know what? Actually, somebody else should read this text for us. Does anybody want to read this for us? This Matthew 28 text for us? Do you want to read it for us, Joy? Okay, Joy, here you go.
No.
Okay. You're loud enough. You're from South Jersey. She's got it. Joy's going to read it for us. Go ahead, Joy. Amen. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so you made some different observations about this text. You talked as tables about this for a little bit. There are 3 lines in quote marks, and you'd probably be wondering, what's the answer? Well, there's not a specific right answer, except for the one that's in my brain. That is the right answer. But were there any 3 words that you found together that you wanted to put in those blanks in those quote marks? Anybody put anything in there? Curious. You thought there should be 4 lines. What were your 4 lines? Okay. Good. All the commands. Yes. That's good. Okay. Did you add a 4th line? Oh, you should have. Okay. All right. What else? Yes. End of age. Okay. Spread the word. Very good. Love it. Anybody else? Some people might have just left it alone because they were like, I don't really know why these are such random 3 lines, right? I had 3 I had of all nations. Those are the three that stuck out to me. I think there are some others in there too. 4 lines would probably have been better, Kathy, but 3. I should have called you and asked you what you thought about my worksheet. Darn it. Next time I will call you. You're going to get so annoyed with me calling you about my worksheets now. But that certainly was there. There are others. Let's move to that question. Who or what is the Great Commission commissioning? Anybody want to answer that question for us? Who or what? Go ahead, Millie. Us. It's commissioning us. Who's us? All believers in whom? In whom? In Jesus Christ. Okay, all those who believe in Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior have been commissioned by whom? By Jesus. Okay. And what is the commissioning? Come on, Risha. Yes, to go and to teach, right? Right, absolutely. But it is a sending out, right? So there is a commissioning that's being done to go and do these things, okay? And there's a few different things within these things, but all of them have to do with missions. All right, what does it mean to be missional? If you are a missional-minded believer or you are a missions-minded believer, what does that mean to be a missional believer? To be intentional, willing. Anybody else? Intentional, willing, self-sacrificial. Love it. There's a lot of chatter over here at this table. Seems like you guys tell us. To be deliberate. These are all synonyms, Bob. Just kidding. Yeah, that's good. Prepare. Yeah, there's great preparation goes into it. Like what kind of preparation, Bob? Yep. You got to be ready to go. So there's got to be some preparation spiritually, some preparation physically, emotionally, financially. Yep. Say it again. Way of life. From a missionary, we have heard now to be missional, it's a way of life. It's a way of life. So this is the way of Jesus to be missional. Now, can you be missional locally? Can you be missional globally? Okay, so it's all over the place then, right? All right, so the Great Commission is universal in speaking, right? It says there's really no limits to this thing. That this is this calling that God has placed on us to go to the ends of the earth to share the gospel, but not to forsake where you are presently too. So if God has called you presently to South Jersey, you should be missional here. If God has called you all the way to Cambodia, you should be missional there, right? All the way Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth, South Jersey, and to the ends of the earth, right? All right, the last question here. In what ways are we, that is, we as TCC, Trinity Christian Chapel, in what ways are we fulfilling our Christ-given Great Commission obligation? In what ways are we fulfilling this calling to be missional? What do you think? Okay, Alliance Women, you do it every month. What is you do what every month? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Oh my goodness, you mean prayer counts? Come on now. Let's go. Somebody's ready to preach. Her name is Betty. Come on now. Yes, it is true. It is true, right? Prayer counts. All right, so in what other ways are we fulfilling our Christ-given obligation to go and to actually do these things that are spoken. Outreach activities, absolutely. Sunday is one. Yep. Yep. So there is an outreach team that serves every Sunday, and that the most, probably the biggest outreach event that we have is a weekly outreach event called Sunday Service, right? Where we preach and share the gospel of Jesus Christ, and talk about how to live as followers of Jesus. Absolutely. Beyond Sunday, though, right? It's about learning. It's also about, as you learn, you then learn about how you can pray. You learn about how you can give financially to different needs to meet those needs. Not all of us can live in Cambodia, right? Not all of it. Well, we can all live in South Jersey, though. It's actually available to everyone to live in South Jersey. But so what? How else? Yep, Samaritans, right? Samaritans boxes. Yep, absolutely. We as a church support missionaries, right? And we connect with them, and we know what they're doing, and then we're able to provide support to meet their needs. Any other ways that we're fulfilling our commission? Okay, tell us, what does verse 19 say? Yep. Yep. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, map making, absolutely. Yeah, there are, the truth is there are lots of different ways in which our church is already and is doing outreach. But the truth is there's a whole lot more that we can do, and that we should do, and that we are obligated to do. The truth is we can so often become too complacent in the world in which we live, our little sector of the world, where we kind of just think and focus more about, hey, what do we need? What does our immediate family need? And not really think about this great commission. And Jesus was pretty radical about it. And that ultimately, if you are following through on being the hands and feet of Jesus, yes, where you are locally, but also globally, thinking it's going to cost a lot. It's radical. It actually is for people. This whole commissioning thing is for people who are willing to say, oh, God, you have given me everything that I have, and therefore I will give you everything that you have given me. And that can be done in so many different ways. But the main thing I wanted to do, and we're going to hear, of course, from Sin and Soot in just a few minutes, but I wanted us to think about what is it that we've actually been called by Jesus to do. And I think, yes, it's part in these four walls, but it's also outside of these four walls. And I think we so often get too fixated on what's happening inside of these four walls that we don't think about what we should be doing outside of them. And that's one of the reasons why we're so grateful for Sin and Sit to be with us tonight, because we're going to think about how we inside the four walls can do more, yes, here at TCC, but also outside of this place. And so I'm excited to learn from them tonight. I'm going to hear their story. And my hope is that it's not just one of those stories where you're like, man, that's really cool. I cannot wait to get in bed tonight. Wow, that was really neat. What a cool thing. High five, everybody. That food was delicious. But that it actually activates something within us to become a more generous people in our time and our talents and our treasures, especially as it relates to being missionally minded. Because ultimately we want to see all people receive all of Jesus, right? And so we want to hear about that. So if you guys are okay with coming up and sharing with us, that would be great.
Thank you so much for having us coming tonight. So tonight we're gonna share with you our journey because we both the survivor of the killing field, and so we just but when we escaped Cambodia to here, we escaped separately, and the goal when we came here, we thought like we're gonna live here and die here, and then after like especially after I received the Lord when I live in the Bronx, and then he have other plans. Yeah. So see now I'm gonna share with you first with the journey how God has been um, orchestrated with us to here and then back.
So you have heard and read about the Vietnam War. What you didn't hear much was the killing field war happened right after Vietnam War. The same war spilled over Cambodia, and it became 4 years, 3 years, 8 months, and 29 days of silence. The world did not heard about Cambodia, and happened on April 17, 1975. The communists known as the Pol Pot regime, or to the world as the killing field. Their target was to eliminate all the upper class, the educated, all the people related to former governments that take over. They want to wipe out all that and then start fresh from Moscow. So one of the objectives was to destroy all machineries, factories, anything that produced to run the country, destroy all that, so they make you to work, make you work to death. So I was 9 years old when it happened. It happened suddenly, and so we were forced out our home and keep moving further where they direct us. And after my family moved out for a while, and after weeks of traveling, at first they told us, pack up the house, leave the home in 3 days. You can come back because American gonna bomb the country. So that was told. So in a panic and chaotic time, we packed up and left, and with the people was packed on the street like a sardine. They had no way to drive. So after 3 days of keep moving forward, we said we want to turn back, and that's when they told us, "Who told you you can come back?" They put gunpoint at us. Keep moving forward. So that's the journey began. 3 days turned to over 3.5 years. We did not come back home. So we keep moving forward. My family, my father was not in the picture. He was missing in action a few years before. He had important figure in the government. But as we move forward, my family of 10 members try to settle down in every village. We try to wait, and as we said, maybe we can stay in this village. Then somebody knew about my family background related to my father and want to earn favor for the new government, so they report us. So we were on a list to be killed. We moved this 10 times to different villages. Every time we think we settle down, somebody snitched on us. Finally, after many times of moving, towards the end of 1979, we settled on one village. And then they separate us to different camps, a way to find out more about your family background. So they send one child to one camp, another child to another camp, parents to another camp. So I was sent to live in a camp with about 700 other children between age 10 to 15. And during the camps, there's no school, it's indoctrination, and they make you sing song or recite poem that give glory to regimes. They make you work in the fields, whatever season of cultivating the land, through planting or pulling herb or roots and everything. We make you walk to, and then this is day in, day out, no rest. And food was very racial. They give a portion to read, and they would ask you family background. And then at night time, evening time, when you have dinner ready, and they make you sit down in the cafeteria hall, and they give lectures. And then they make reprimands those some child who make some children who make misbehave. They make punish them in front and make an example so that other children will not follow. And then they all told us, whatever you learn from your parents, forget about it. The regime's now your guardians. Listen to us. This happened day in, day out, morning and noontime. And when you young and you miss your home, you cannot go to, you haven't seen your loved one, you fear for your life, and the message being taught to you day in, day out, you begin to believe. Maybe it is so. And that was fine. And we tried to make joke, live a normal lifestyle, while work, and make fun for each other. But then one day I was very sick. I picked up kind of tropical diseases. My hair was hepatitis. I was yellow from head to toes, and jaundice and ascites, and I was delirious. And then I called if my mom can come to see me. My mom was living in another town, and she never did come. And after I got better, I heard that she had tried to come to see me. She heard, but she was stopped at gunpoint. They told her that you're not a doctor. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your effort. So I never seen my mother that I asked for. But so by the grace of God, I got better. But my heart was bitter. And I couldn't express my emotion because of fear for my life. But I hold on. So I questioned Buddha that my family worship. The Buddha's teaching, Buddha said, you do good, you can merit for the next life. So all my life, I watched my parents do charity and good deeds. I said, where are the good deeds that do me? So I despise Buddha. And then it's not answering. So I looked to the trees, the hills, and the mountains, and I said, who made all that? There must be somebody make that. Who are you? Where are you? I said, a fox have a hole to go to. A bird have a nest to go to. I have a mom I couldn't go to. But I couldn't express it out loud, so only come. So I toughened up. I became like a robot, do like emotion, follow the orders, do the work. That was during the regimes of separation in that concentration camps. In January 1979, another war took over Cambodia. The communists from Vietnam spilled over, and the country was chaotic. And then the communists, the Khmer Rouge communists, that were just a killing field, the Pol Pot regime ousted. So one morning I woke up, the camp was abandoned. And all the kids, they scattered, left to run for their own life. But I was left behind among the weaklings. I was too sick to leave the camp. And all the older kids, they took off, and they didn't want to slow them down. They didn't want to take anybody along. So a few other children in the camp with me, we were crying what become of our future. And it was nighttime. We did not know what to do. And then all of a sudden, an old man riding an ox cart came by my camp. Said, hey, what are you kids still doing here? The war is over. Go home. And I said, we want to go, but nobody want to take us along. There's a forest about 9 miles between us to my mountain village. We couldn't go, and we don't know how to work out. So he said, well, come on up. Ride on the ox cart. So he rode the ox cart. We drove all night to the main town, one village that my mom and my sibling lived there. We arrived around at nighttime, and there's no street light, and it looked like somebody, they just had a recently bombed or shelled the area. Was a lot of houses burning, and there was a lot of dead bodies on the ground, and recently shooting. And so I tried to remember 3.5 years ago when I left my family, where they lived, tried to figure out what direction, and step over the bodies and turn them over, hoping one of them was not my family member. And by the grace of God, I was reunited with my family. I was the last child of 7 children to come home. My mother was determined to not leave that village until all her children came home. So upon family reunion, I discovered that my oldest sister was forced marriage during that regime. She had a child already, and she was pregnant with her second child. Her husband got missing during the fighting. And so I met my nephew, and then after some time, we okay, let's go back to our hometown in Battambang when we left in 1975. It took us some weeks to walk by foot, rest. By the time we get to Battambang, our hometown, we discovered that our home was once beautiful and tall, was burned to the ground. And our property was taken by somebody who arrived there first. The new owner, our greedy, asked for proof of ownership of our property, even though we have neighbors and friends testify that our property, but they want proof. We didn't have any proof because we had to destroy all documents from our past. In order to survive, we had to destroy all records from our past. We changed our names, we disguised our look. So we didn't have anything to give back to return. So we became squatters of our own property. As we wait, famine was severe. There's no food. Another person would kill another person for a cup of rice. The government was not able to provide food. So you need a strong man to look for food. My older brother was only 15, malnourished, skinny, and my mom couldn't fund it. So we trade whatever for food to survive, and then we ask around if there are any family members who survived the war. We discovered that 40 members from my father were killed, and 23 members from my mother's side was also killed. We had no one left. The hardship began, and then soon we're going to run out of food. My mother heard about refugee camps across the border. But to go to the refugee camp, you had to go through forests and filled with landmines and bandits and soldiers. And then any of the soldiers, like Thai soldier, Vietnamese soldier, Khmer soldier, guerrillas, any of those soldiers would not hesitate to shoot anybody moving. The risk to go to the border was so strong, but we have nothing left behind to hold us back. My mother determined, let's go forward. If we step on landmine, we'll die together. We're being spotted by soldier, we'll die. Cambodia, our home, have nothing left to hold us back. That was her determination. We hired someone to lead us the way. If you watch the Killing Fields movie, my family traveled in the similar pattern, but with 10 people, including a pregnant woman, in that kind. So we took us some weeks to cross the border, and then we rest in the daytime to avoid being spotted, and try to travel like evening time, and hoping that we not step on landmines. Upon arrival at the entrance of the refugee camps, there were relief workers, international missionaries from around the world to pull out to help refugees. And the camp surrounded by barbed wire, so they opened the gate, let us in one by one. They took us for treatment from all malaria, for typhoid, for all kinds of diseases. And they give us food, and they give us plastic tops for shelters. And then one by one, we get better. And then, but my older sister, even though she delivered a healthy baby girl, she lost her mind for a long period of time. And she had to remain in a hospital for mental treatment. And I was assigned to meet her needs, clean her bedpan and feed her and take care of her during the hospital stay. The hospital is made of bamboos and grass hut and dirt floor, nothing fancy about, and the bed made of bamboos, wood and plank. But there's one missionary nurse in that hospital who, the way she demonstrated care to other patients. I was assigned to take care of my sister, but I went to look for that nurse. The way she, on her knees, gently whispers through interpreter, explain to the patient. And to me, she's so beautiful. She looked like an angel, blonde and beautiful. I was just a refugee girl from a distance observing her, but with such love, but asking, what kind of, what make her do such a thing? Where I came from, if you're rich and beautiful, you don't do that kind of work. That's a work of servants. What made this lady do such a thing? I observed her with admiration. Weeks went by, my sister got better. She came home with a new baby girl in her arm. She said, I met a new God. His name is Jesus. We don't know much about him, but he promised to be good. Buddha is not a God at all. Let's give Jesus a try. So, and with that, my sister took us to the church and then refugee camp. I was placed under with a group of children, Sunday school group. That Sunday morning in January 1980, there was a ratio of about 80 children to 2 teachers. It was chaotic. And at that particular Sunday, the children had homework. They were to memorize some scriptures. If they remember, they say, well, they got candy or prize. So the kid was shouting verse by verse for candy. I was like a sponge, taking in every word that the kid shouting in. So at the end of that Sunday school class, the teacher was busy packing her bag, and I tucked her skirt. Teacher, is that true? Is that the God who made the heavens and the earth, like the children said? She said, yeah. And she continued packing her bag again. And teacher, is that true? That God is loved the world, and the world so much that like the kid said, yeah. And she continued packing her bag. And I said, teacher, can I be part of that family too? Then she stopped everything. She said, yes, child, you can be part of that family too. And she led me to Jesus that Sunday morning. And my family now 11 members. And we were praying, hoping, we trust in Jesus, but we have no way. We like a little floating plant on the river, but nowhere to go. We had the wind toss us. And we applied for sponsorship. Anybody will please take us out of that camp. We apply, but we wait. And as we wait, and no sponsor wanted to sponsor a large family like us. And so as we wait, I have a new prayer in my heart. I said, Lord, I'm only a refugee girl. I don't know what my future will be like. But if you're willing, can you make me like that nurse? So God heard my prayer. In May 1982, a church in Long Island sponsored my whole family to America. Arrived in America at age 16. Never been to school for the past 8 years. Last time I had school was 2nd grade in the Khmer language. Now in America, learning, speaking a new language. Through kind teachers and ESL, and I made through high school. And I told my teacher, I want to be a nurse. Can you help me to go to school? And I said, oh, nursing is hard, but you can do it. So I got 2 nursing program. But, learning English was hard enough already. Learning nursing, like, oh my goodness. And every time I want to give up, it's so hard. God put that picture of that nurse in my mind as a reminder. You want to be a nurse, work a little bit harder. And that was my motto. I repeat, I took every class twice. And during the high school year, we met, and we have sent the same call. And after I graduated from nursing, after 6 years of trying, and after 2 state board, I became an RN. My my mother was the most proud mother in New York, and we married in 1992, and have a wonderful job working as a registered nurse in St. John Hospital, earn substantial money and good income, but something was missing in my heart, not content. I didn't have worry about lack of food, didn't have worry about landmines or bandit, but something was missing. What is it, God? Then I looked to scripture. Romans 10 say, for anyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. But how can they call on the one whom they have not believed? And how can they believe in the one whom they have not heard? And how can they hear but nobody tell them? And how can they want to tell them if nobody sends them to go? That was my conviction. I said, perhaps that nurse heard that call. She didn't speak to me, but her answer, yes, was enough to open door for me. So I felt my turn to bring the message of hope to lost people there. So I told Mom, she's the head of the family. Sue and I don't feel God's calling to Cambodia. She sighed. She said, child, we have no family left in Cambodia. The communists that killed our family are still active. You might get killed if you go there. What about your nursing? You work so hard for that. And that question resonated in my life so much. And then God affirmed in Jeremiah, said, He knows the plans He has for my life, plan to prosper me and not to harm me, plan to bring me hope and a future. And that was a determination. I told my mother, Mom, we're going to Cambodia. We're not going to the killing field, Mom. We're going to the living field. But at that time, I knew in 95 when we journeyed to go, we knew that we might be killed. And it was like, I told my family in JFK, I said, if God willing, I'll come back and see you again in 2 years. If not, I'll see you in heaven. That was the determination. The calling was so strong. But we said we're going to go for 2 years. Now, almost 31 years, we're still here.
So my story is similar to Sina. One of the story that I remember vividly during the communists when they separate us after they told us to go 3 days, and then we were not able to come back our home, and then they start to separate, and then the communist leader, they start to take history from each one history background. And my dad, because my dad, he's working with the government, and my dad told like if they ask for history background, just told the leader that he was a taxi driver, and my mom housewife was a housewife. So that's how I got survive and live in that regime. One of the communist regime, one of the thing that you scared the most like nighttime, because like usually nighttime, the leader would come and knock the door, like and would ask like Mr. A, our leader want to talk to you. So which means that they found out already about that the history background, so that when they come out and ask you to leave home, which means that you get killed, you got killed. So like for us, after come back from work, from the field, we kind of talk, look at each other like, who next? Who gonna be? Or is it you or us or me? So that's why the night time kind of long night and longing for the morning rise. So then we said, okay, we survive for that night. And and then that's why, so live with fear. And then 1975, the Vietnamese came. 1979, the Vietnamese and came and they ousted the Khmer Rouge. So we were able to, we was got up in the morning and our leader were gone. And then we were told like, oh, go home. Now everybody go home. Wherever you came from, go back home. So because like for me, when 1975, I was 12 years old, and then I was 15 already at that time. Couldn't figure out how to get home, and I asked people like, because a lot of people like walk on the road like, so I like, sir, which village you go, which town you go? So they told me, this town. Oh, I thought, oh, can I go along with them? And so like, so just walk along on the road. And well, while we were walking so long, like thousand people, like hundred and or people like walking. So while I was walking on the road, like all of a sudden I saw people like got shot, and in front of me and beside me just like fell down. And then I couldn't figure it out. So when I looked back there, this Vietnamese tank was behind us. So they just shoot everybody on like walking on the road. And I could not understand. I thought like, if I keep running straight on the main road, I might get hit too. So I got off from the main road to the rice field and then run to the village which is nearby, and then stay there for one night. And we could not figure out why they shoot at us, and stay in that village. And then in the morning we get all the group, the young young teenagers, and start to walk again, come back to the main road. And while we were walking on the rice field, the explosion like beside me, in front of me, behind me. And when we look back there, this Vietnamese army like tried to shell on us and shoot. And then we just like confused, like why they try to kill all of us. So we ran back to the village, and then the village people kind of stand there, look at us. And then we told them like, run, the Vietnamese come close to us, run, they're going to shoot all of us, they're going to kill all of us. And the village people like look at us, say, no, we're not running, we're going to arrest you. You are the communists. You are the Khmer Rouge. And we begged them to let us go, but they didn't. They tie us up, they put us in the middle, they beat us up. And then the Vietnamese army, they arrived, and then they hand us over to the Vietnamese army. And then they took our name through the interpreter, and then they brought us from the village to the main road. And when we came to the main road, there's a lot of young people, like 14, 17, 18, sitting there. And the Vietnamese army was around us with AK-47. And they said that anybody try to run, you're going to get shot. And we stay still, didn't want to move. And a couple hours later on, the general came with the interpreter and called my name. Suit. I didn't want to stand up. I just kept quiet. Suit. Second time, I thought like, if I stand up, he's going to shoot me. And so I thought like, maybe somebody else named Suit. And but then Suit. I thought like, okay, this is with me. So I thought like, he's going to shoot me. And I just stood up there, introduced my name, and then through the interpreter, and said that, go home. I kind of like frozen, didn't know what to do. And then I told to the interpreter like, but I didn't know how to get home yet. But then the interpreter like make the signal to me like, go home. Just like, go, quick, something like that. So I left, and I didn't I didn't know those like 400 or 500 teenagers that were there. I didn't know what was going on, but I just left the group, and took me about 2 weeks to go back. And it was the first time I tried to go to my village, but it was burned out to the ground because the communists, they shoot, they burn everything, and then found out that my parents live in another village. They escaped from that village. So I went there. It was my first time to see my parents, and I just like at that time I just like determined like I'm not gonna leave them again. If we're gonna die, we're gonna die together, and just determined that way. But then later on, because the communists, the government could not give us any food, there was no job, no, no, we were not able to get any food to eat. And so that night, I decided to escape Cambodia, and by myself. So I told my aunt, I told auntie that, auntie, if you didn't hear any news from me about 3 months, just assume that I died somewhere. Because like you just like have enough. Because I thought like if I'm gonna die, I don't want to die in front of my family with starvation. So I'd rather to go away and die by myself. And so I thought like left 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 them. I thought like I would go to join the guerrilla army, fight back to the government. But then when I went through that jungle, and like Sina said, a lot of landmines, a lot of Vietnamese army. If they see us, they're going to shoot us because they said that we are the traitor. You run away your country, they're going to kill us. So I thought like I don't care. Well, if they're going to shoot, let it be. And but went all the way to the border, then heard about the refugee camp in Thailand. So I make my trip all the way to the camp there, refugee camp in Thailand, and met my uncle live there, stay there for a while, and then my uncle got accepted to come to America, and so 1983 we flew from Bangkok to JFK. So we land there, and then they took us from JFK to the Bronx, New York, and live there. And then I asked my sponsor, like, I want to go to work. And my sponsor told me like, no, sir, you go to school. And I was shocked too because I never been to school for 8 years. And so I was enrolled ESL program and study in high school, and study there. And but then when I came to New York, I thought like I shouldn't be worried. I have enough food to eat. I have a shelter, good shelter, good place to sleep. I don't have to worry that somebody knock the door and drag me out and shoot me and kill me. But I feel like nighttime when I slept, I look to the ceiling, I feel like empty. I could not figure it out like what was wrong with me. I should be happy. And so I try to go out, hang out with friends, have party. I just go enjoy life outside. But came home, the same thing, empty. Until one day I was on the train, the subway, to school, and then I met a friend that used to go to church in the refugee camp. And asked him like if he still go to church. He said yes, he'll go to church. So I asked him like, would it be okay if I can go with you? So he took me to the first week to go to church, and second week, and then I started to go to church. And then I start to really enjoy studying on Bible study. Go to church on Sunday. The more I go to church one Sunday, then my uncle told me, stop me, like, Stuart, if you go to church, you stay at the church. Don't come home. But if you stay home, no church. And at that time, I didn't know. I didn't have any relative. And I thought, like, what should I do? Church or home? And then I called my pastor. I called like, Pastor, I'm about to kick out of the house. Would it be okay if I can move in with you? My pastor didn't say yes yet, but later on he said yes. So so then I moved in with him. I left my uncle and stayed there. And then in high school we met during high school, and then I finished high school, and then I told my pastor like that, I want to go to school that become get a good job, or become an engineering, so I can make a lot of money, so I can sponsor all my family come to America. And my pastor told me like, "Sir, why don't you try to go to Nyack College?" And I said, "Well, Nyack College does nothing to become a missionary and to become a pastor. They don't make a lot of money." They don't make a lot of money. I said, I want to make a lot of money. And then my pastor said, like, "Sir, try. You don't just try a semester. You don't like it, you quit. You go to school that you like." I thought like, oh, that's fair enough. And so I went to Nyack College. And Nyack College, they have a chapel from Monday to Friday. And but the Friday chapel was the special one because they have a missionary talk about the mission work. So I like a lot on the mission on the Friday chapel. And the missionary, one Friday missionary was have a picture on the slide. And there's a boy on the slide. He like looks skinny, very short, looked lost and despair. And he was like watching the cows. And then the missionary was says something like this: "Who gonna go? Who responsible for that boy?" And when I looked to that boy, my mind flashed back to Cambodia. And I thought like, wow, if I didn't come to this country, I would end up like that boy, lost, despair, and no hope. So I sat in the front row. So I just raised up my hand like this, said like, "God, send me back to Cambodia. Send me back to Cambodia." So and then graduate 91. I graduated Nyack College 91, and we married 92, and then we start to apply with the CMA. They give us a form to fill out. First choice: which country would you like to go? Cambodia. Second choice: if Cambodia didn't work, not work out, didn't work out, which country you want to go? Cambodia. Third choice, the same thing, Cambodia. And 95, then the CMA called us to join the mission work in Cambodia, to go to Cambodia. So we say goodbye to family, and then we told friends and family, like, we're going to go to Cambodia. And they look at us like, are you crazy? Everybody want to come to America. Why you want to go back to Cambodia? But like, because the calling was so strong, and we just like, we just like didn't listen, like just said, we're going to go. So we just clear our apartment and have 2 suitcases each and say goodbye to friends and family. And God had been using us. And in Cambodia, we have 2 sons who were born and raised in Cambodia, Justin and Jonathan. We're going to show you the picture on Sunday. And Justin, like right now, serving in Jordan with his wife, and they give us 3 almost 4 coming in May. And Jonathan now he's live in Hawaii, working with one of the church. So we live in Cambodia for 30 years, and we've been moving like
5, 6 different times.
so we've been moving, but we've been moving a lot. Yeah.
Because we are Cambodian and we able to go to places that present risk, and we can blend in with the local. We know the language, we know the culture. It make it easier than compared to our co-workers, our teammates who are different as foreigner. Because of that, we were able to go to places there were no churches yet. And that's for the past 30 years, we've been doing that. We will go to places that no churches yet. We stay there, make relationship, church planting efforts, and when others feel safe to join us, they came to join us, and then when they feel comfortable, we move to the next location, start new again. So we spent 2 years in the capital city in 95 to 97. And because at that time the company is still active, so there's a curfew. We left home 3 times a week, 3 days a week to go to minister in remote villages. But we make sure to come back to our home in the capital city by 4 p.m. so to avoid being kidnapped or arrested. That was 2 years. And then 98, we were sent to another location called Siem Reap. There's no churches yet. At that time, refugee camps closed and people returned to Cambodia. Refugees who not being sponsored, they returned. And wherever the refugees settled, the church was growing because Jesus showed up in the refugee camps, and the people brought back the gospel. But the new believers are young and they're not being discipled. So Siem Reap, we went there and we start our family and another family from Western PA who are medical background. We start first response ministry. We taught how to pick up patient who accident, first aid, and then we use our truck as ambulances. We pack up the patient and send them to the nearest hospital. So that for 4 years, an effort with combined with medical and our discipleship, we planned 11 churches in 4 years in Siem Reap. And again, as the town being prosperous, other field sisters joined us, then we moved to another location. Well, 2003, we were called to go to Poi Pat. Poi Pat is northwest of Cambodia. At that time, 130,000 population, no hospital, no churches. And the nearest hospital was 3.5-hour drive away. And the area filled with landmines, borders, casinos, trafficking, human trafficking, sex. You heard about sex trafficking, human trafficking in Southeast Asia. Poi Pat was one of the hot spots there, one of the wild west of Cambodia. You know now. At that time, we had our boys was Justin was 6 years old, I'm 7 year old, and Jonathan was 1 year old. And our option was homeschool or boarding school. And I learned English at age 16. I never learned all that basic things. So homeschool, but by God's grace, I helped. And we moved into this town. We thought, okay, we're going to live there. But then the town, after we looked at 23 houses in area, we found one. And we hired local people to cut grass. And we arrived in July during rainy season. And after a few weeks, I settled down, we discovered that our house was like an island. And those tall grass that we cut off was home of snakes. So the snake have no place to go. They come and crawls to our house. The snake would crawl in between the trees like that. 4 of them were in the house. And I was like, oh, this is so creepy, Lord. It's so hard. And I had a phobia of snake. And I had 2 active boys. And the nearest hospital is a 9-hour drive away. And like, there's no anti-venom. And like, this is not a safe place. And the snake only came when he's not home. He's out. And normally I would run away, but with 2 boys, I had to protect them. So, and so we killed the snake and counted. So that year we had a calendar page on leftover from America, from July 4th onward. By the time we reached to September 30th, we count 78 snakes. It's so creepy. And I feel like this is like Satan playground. We was just starting new ministry, and he knew that I have fear of snake. He attacked me when my husband's not home, and as the woman in the house, if I don't feel safe, the whole family pack up and leave. So he was attacking me. So I said, pray. So I told Satan, I'm not leaving. I'm staying put. So that year, by the time my calendar page ran out, December 31st of 2003, I stopped counting at 155 snakes. And more snakes came. It's just we didn't have any more pages to write. And it's just the way God, the devil intimidated. And so the amazing part is our neighbors had no snake, or 1 or 2 snakes here and there. They just come to our house. 4 of them were in the house, inside the house. 2 of them ran between Jonathan's legs and panicked. But God protected us and then saved us. So I killed so many snakes. They call me Sina, the snake slayer. So we stay in Point Bed for some 13 years, and God allowed us to plant 11 churches, and about over 1,000 people came to Christ. Again, we always moving to the next town. 2017, we were on home assignment preparing for the new town when God called us that. You want to talk about that, right? So you want to say that one? So we were on Nyack for home assignment, and in January 2017, we got a phone call from the field director in Cambodia. Said, "Soon, Sina, God been using you mightily. Would you consider go to a new place that no churches yet?" So okay, we came. We look at each other. We are survivors of the killing fields. God kept us alive. We live in the Bronx. We got robbed and we survived that one. 13 years in Point Bad with all the snake. We survived that one. So what's the new place? And we said, An Long Wayne. And we like, An Long Wayne, you're kidding, right? What you don't know about An Long Wayne is that it was the headquarters during the regimes that killed over 2 million people. All the top leaders had their homes there. And Long Wayne is like, I don't know, to America, like Pearl Harbor, 9/11 or something like that. Something that gives you the creep. You can remember that part. And for us, we remember all the horrible, the nightmare we went through, flood back. We didn't say yes right away. We said, God, we said, let us give some time to pray. And after we pray, for weeks went by, we felt peace. And then we packed our house. In 2017, we went to Long Wayne, and we thought we were going to start from scratch. After we found a house again, there's no relative to help us. We just knock on door. We're going to move here. You have a house for us to rent? Like that. So after 14 houses looking to it, we found one. And after we settled down, we began to ask around, do you know the Jesus people around here? Christians are known as the Jesus people. So we asked, you heard about the Jesus people? And they point us to here and there and there. And then we were introduced to some church people who just came to Christ and Mr. Kang. And we're gonna watch a video later on. But Mr. Kang, before when meeting Jesus, he was a most violent man. But God somehow through a miracle, and God healed him, and he became a transformed man. So watch this man first out of the ashes.
I was a violent man, a drunk and evil man. I had no love for anybody. One day, I was working in an empty charcoal oven when the wall caved in on me and my little boy. I heard my wife cry out, "Jesus, help my husband." I felt two hands grip my shoulders, and I realized I was already outside the cave. I choked and coughed out blood. Then my right eye popped out of its socket. Immediately, my wife and a neighbor took me to the nearest hospital. Every doctor in every clinic said that they could not treat this kind of injury. I told my wife, "You must take me to your church. I have no other hope." When we arrived, I asked the pastor to pray for me. As he prayed, I felt something from inside was pulling my eyeball to its place. And when everyone opened their eyes to look at me, I shouted, "I am healed." I was overwhelmed with joy and in awe that God had healed me. After I got out of the hospital, my heart was restless. I could not stay still. I just wanted to go and tell everyone about Jesus. I often walked to distant places. I kept praying to God for clear direction. God, you have done so much in my life. From now on, whether I live or die, I am devoted to you. Where you send me, I will go. First, I shared in my own village. The people all knew what kind of character I was. After I came back, everyone was amazed by my healing, and they said that I was a different man. Some who saw the changes in me began to put their
just like so desperate need. We have not heard any church existing here. It's just like spiritual hunger.
We met Kang on a boat ride. He's a natural networking person. Wherever his relative live, that's a church exists.
All he knew that go and share the gospel. Sometimes he called us like, I'm here, I'm there, away from home. Talk to this person, that person. They received the Lord already. It's amazing. We told him that there's so many that we cannot catch up with him.
God answered my prayer and sent you. I was so happy. My faith began to grow deeper. You are helping us understand God's ways.
We cover 3 villages a week and do all-day discipleship classes in that each village, including 2 floating villages. In the last 2 years, we've seen God's planted 12 Alliance Church group, and about 130 people came to Christ. This is our goal to see by year 2021 that in every village, every tribe, every tongue in Cambodia to have a church, a place of worship for the people group.
We plant churches because Jesus told us to go and make disciples. But it's in Jesus' heart, he cared for the lost soul. And that's why we're here, follow him.
I am grateful to God for saving me, and I have committed my whole being to serving him for the rest of my life. Nothing makes me happier than to see lost people find their way back into God's kingdom.
Our God is a real God, not just a storyteller.
Not just once upon a time stories.
Yeah, once upon a time story. This is real, this is true, that he's worked in the life of his people.
And he still does miracles every day. 2017 to 2021, with the COVID and all that, God planted 21 house churches in 4 years. And then when we were on home assignment 2021-22, we heard that Mr. Kang had an accident and he died. And we felt, oh, what a loss. And we went return to Cambodia, and that time we grieved. But tomorrow you'll see part 2 of that. On Sunday, God raised more Kangs through his network. And so we journeyed the place. The thing is, the An Long Wang was the place most fear at all, most avoid at all costs for Cambodian people. And the place that started out were killing over 2 million people because they were educated. And for the past, and no church was wiped out. But for the past 8 years, God brought the gospel to An Long Wang. Right now, we have 26 churches in that area that the heart of people avoid for all that. So we'll move to stay tuned on Sunday. But for right now, for you can feel free to ask questions and for if you have any questions. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. My family that survived, all survived, are in America. I'm the only one back in Cambodia. I have no family in Cambodia. They all were killed.
For me, all my family live in Cambodia. Only me, and then my brother just joined me. Sponsor him later on. So we're only 2 siblings. The rest live in Cambodia. My parents, yes. My dad, my mom, yeah. My mom passed away last year. My dad passed away in 97 or 98, yeah.
But he still have 5 siblings who not yet follow Jesus.
This is all about the God redemption.
The question often asked when we were there, are you Khmer? Say, yeah. You went to the war? Yes. You came back? Uh-huh. Why? That's an opportunity when they ask that. Opportunity to share. So we don't just teach about from theories. We live through it, and we went there. We don't come. We go there as an expert. We go there like, I went through what you're going through, and I found hope in Jesus. Let me hold your hand. We can do it together. It's shame and honor culture. You give up your religion, you're being looked down and marked called traitor. And many people want to know, we're curious about Jesus, but they're afraid, who are the Jesus? Oh, are you here, come and go? The Buddhists have a temple to go to. Who are you? So they want to see tangible. But the Buddhist cultures is all about you go give food to the temple, give offering to the temple, hoping to earn merits. But when during crisis, it's the Jesus people who showed up in loving kindness. And so people, even though they don't receptive to the gospel, but they saw something different about these people, loving their neighbors as themselves. Why would they do such a thing? So this and when there's no one concept in the Buddhist culture. There's no concept of creation and a life after death. There's no concept. They believe in reincarnation. So there's no one moment to teach. We're looking for opportunity to share the gospel, but meeting them where they are, and then opportunity to share. They know the difference because in floods or drought or famine, it's always the Jesus people who showed up to help.
The question like this, so if I receive Jesus, can I still go to the temple? Can I still burn incense stick to my ancestor, or can I go visit the grave to my ancestor, my grandparents, and something like that? Can I still do that? And we said, yeah, you can. And except one thing, study God's word with us. And you're willing to study God's word with us, and then you can make your own decision. So usually, when after they study with us like 3 months, about 3 months, 6 months, then they start to make their own decision. Like, oh, this is useless. They don't need that. Yeah. Yes. So give them time. We don't want to tell them like. Celebrate your loved one that in the grave, but after they understand God's word, then God only God's word that work in their heart. Yeah. Mm. The Buddhism, I mean, there's no creation background at all. No, no, I mean, like if you Buddhism, who created the world? No, there's no answer. Yes, and where all the human coming from? They don't know neither. Yes, so that's why we have the Bible said that. But my Bible tell everything from the beginning. You guys, so we said that you don't where you started. Where did you started the human from? Where did you started the creation? They don't have that clue. So that's why how we able to share with them with that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So Cambodia, they call themselves Buddhism, but it's not pure meditation Buddhism. Originally, Cambodia is animist, worship spirits in the trees and the mountain and all that. But then the king married Hindu's wife from India. Then he introduced Hinduism into the mix, and then Buddhism come also. So they have Buddha statue, the Hindus statue and everything. So it's a make, and then now they also still do animist. They go to witch doctors, practice black magic and voodoos and all that. So, but the state religion is Buddhism, but it's not pure Buddhism. So. Yeah. Yeah, yes.
You mean like when they become a Christian that they versus culture, which something like that, right? Mhm.
Okay. Poverty. The main problem right now, a lot of problem, but one of the main problem is poverty. And people, we disciple people, but people move about looking for jobs. We're losing people, and then there's different groups who use money versus truth and religion, and they to buy the sheep away, and they stray away, and they go away, and so we have the problem for Christianity. We have groups who's supposed to be Christian like, but they don't. They do the back door using money to buy sheep and buy bride away. But some of them are maybe and good intention. Some are like a cult. One is pull away. So for us, we knew that competition coming, but as long people come to us, they say we hook them in class right away, we disciple them right away, and we cannot keep them because they're gonna move about looking for a job. Our hope is that once they're with us, they will bring on and they go along, bring the word with us, and we try to hook them where the church is near, they can go about. So poverty is the main that drove people away. And then when you're hungry, any offer is look good, you know. And so that's one thing. Because of corruptions, our land is so rich soil. With we grow jasmine rice. The rice grow well, but our government don't have a way to manufacture into grain. So we sell crops to Thailand, to Vietnam, to border country, and they bought the grain so cheap, and they label it products of Thailand, product of out of Vietnam, but it's all from Cambodia. Cashews and mangoes and all. We have rich soil, but we don't have the government to help because we deal with corrupt system. So then that's why our people, and then the loans people, the shock loans go in through micro loan. People are starving, so they borrow money, and so they live. About 90%, 90% of people of Cambodian owe various loans, micro loans, and loans high interest paid by the months. And so people had to come, in addition to starvation, they had to come up with a status quo, the bill pay of the loans each month. So the cycle continue, and then no job, on a crop, you harvest crop and nobody sells, so they send family members to find work in Thailand or Korea and somewhere, and then we have problem with children, taking care of children at home while mom and dad looking for a job elsewhere. So these are the reality of life in a rural area that we work with. You hear more on Sunday. We go to the village, we hardly see adults, only elderlies and children. The working adult are out somewhere. And so that's reality of that. And so we try, we cannot keep them because we cannot take care of them financially. But once they with us, we heavily invested in them and discipleship them as much we can, and hope that they will carry on. So, okay. So we use ponds, well, and then people will boil them. So I have a church in Ohio donate me. I just received 100 water filters like soy in a Ziploc. So we will take out bag. We're going to take with us in June, and we distribute to the family. They have a bin of 20 liters bin, and they drill a hole and filter the water so they can drink. So there's we don't have like plumbing, indoor plumbing. Most homes don't have indoor plumbing, so it's an outhouse, and they use water from the well of the pond to do and boil them. So, yeah, yeah. But most of the people still live with outdoor. There's no indoor plumbing, so. I think.
It's, I think one of the thing because like we are working with children, and I've dreamed that to help these children to get out of the poverty, get out of the cycle, like grown up and like want to see them have a higher education, and also at the same time uh, become to know the Lord. The same time, this is the wish because like we both missing school while we were young. So when we see the children, we don't want them we don't want them like repeat like when what we went through during that regime.
In the rural area, the school, most kids quit school after 6th grade because there's no money to go high education. After middle school, they quit school, and then because they need the high school is in the big city. To go to high school, you have to have a dorm. Our relatives live there, and so they don't have to live. So and school is very corrupted system, and then it's just mostly empty buildings, hardly any books. So God put a burden in our heart. Last term, we want to bring education back to Long Wayne through the library ministry. So we raised fund, we built a library, and we stocked up with books. And we just finished the library before we came, and then so we load up the books, and so the library is to serve the communities where kids can come and do research and do. We have donated laptop computers, and kids can come learn that. So our desire that our village girls, village boy would rise up to high school and have ambition to go to college in the city. And we're looking for a way, and we partner with families who willing to, we saw potential children, like, would you willing to invest with us? We want to help this child to go to high grade if he have potential. So we're helping with any tuition, any after school program, anything like that. We're looking for a way to help partner with the families so that they won't stop their kid from going to school and send them off to work in Thailand or something like that. So this is a way we're on the lookout. And we do kid outreach ministry monthly, busy, and we open our gates to invite the community kid come in to play games and relays, and we roast hot dogs and sweet potato. The more the kids come to us, twice a week, twice a month, about 40 to 60 kids come to our house. And the more we learn about their need, if they need help with tutoring and math, we hire some high school kid to tutor them. We pay somebody to help us various ways. Unless we done that until we earn their trust and know their case, then we can help them case by case. And we partner with 3 schools in that area, and we go to the school principal, we're going to be here for the next 4 years. How can we help with your community? What are the children we can help? So they highlight the children who needs help. So they point to us. We make sure the child have 2 sets of uniforms, for each year. Make sure they have backpack and school supply. And we partner with the teachers. And at school, they don't allow Christianity in the school. But when we tell you, we are Jesus people, and we come to help with you. And so every time we do something like that, they give a 10, 15 minutes to talk to the students. We have opportunity to, highlight it, gospel and the message. So that way they know, and the opportunity and the teacher, and we go to the chief of police in the town. We said, we're going to be here for the next 4 years. How can we work with you to help your community feel better? And the chief of police said, oh, I can help with, we need a security guard at nighttime to reduce the crime, but we need uniform. So we pay for the uniform, and the police said, the village leader said, oh, the crime's always over there. So we put solar system to bright the area. So there's a way we can partner with the community for that way. And sometimes one school need water, we dig a well in the school. One church in New Jersey raised some money. We bought 2,000 water bottles for the students to go there. So there are ways to do, but all in the name of the Jesus to them, So when we have team come to visit us, we told the teachers, hey, our friend from America, they are Jesus people, and they specialize in this one. Can you use them in your school for field trip? So we had class. We taught dangers of the internet in school. We taught public health in school. So all of this, and every time we do that, we have opportunity to share the gospel in the school setting. So needs are overwhelmed, but our praise that God will give us discernment, creative way how to meet needs where they are. The Cambodian have a saying, what you tell me about your God may be noble and truth, but I cannot hear you because my stomach is growling. So you cannot preach the gospel to them because they're hungry, they need help. Meet them where they are, and then opportunity. Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of all the thing that unexpected, and God is always show up all the time. Yeah.
And miracles. Sometimes when people, God like to show up, like the story may come. His whole story was like he was a violent man, and he had an accident. His eyeball popped out, hanged by optic nerve, and then 19 people witnessed. They prayed for and they saw the healing. And before that, he went to 4 clinics in town. None of them accept him. And after he met Jesus, he came back to 4 clinics, the same thing. You healed. What happened? You died with the eyeball pop out. What happened? I met Jesus. So it's overwhelming. And so God sometimes oftentimes in a hard place, like God uses miracles and dreams and stuff like that. And God allow people see when at first it's just curious to check out these Jesus people, but as they come, the more they come, they learn, and that's overwhelming. And we saw miracles like